Welcome to the Onyx Path News, with me, Matthew Dawkins, the Gentleman Gamer. This week is a little more subdued than previous weeks. We can all breathe a sigh of relief, because the Contagion Chronicle Kickstarter, in Kickstarter news, has concluded. It concluded amazingly well. Exceeded $75,000, exceeded 1,500 backers, it hit 2 stretch goals, well 2 books I should say, it hit lots of stretch goals, but it successfully funded the full player's companion, so all 4 horsemen of the apocalypse shall ride, and it also funded about 4, I think, different global outbreak chapters, so that means you'll get to see even more settings, even more manifestations of Contagion in upcoming books. And I've got to say, I feel immensely grateful to all of you who backed the Kickstarter, who shared it, who promoted it, who gave it a like, or what have you. Just remember that although the Kickstarter is over, if you missed it, you will still be able to back it on Backerkit. But that does mean that a new Kickstarter will be coming up in the next month or so, and I anticipate, I can't confirm it, but I anticipate that that will be Pirates of Pugmire, which is a game I worked on, Eddie Webb developed, and Dixie Cochran, our other co-host from the Onyx Pathcast, also worked on as a writer. So that was a lot of fun to work on, and I hope you will give it a look. Obviously, 2 games couldn't be much farther apart than the Contagion Chronicle and Pirates of Pugmire, but both are a lot of fun in their own respective avenues. This week, I'm not going to talk about Backerkit. Well, I just did, but I'm not going to talk about Backerkit too much because I talk about it every week. However, what I will say is keep your eye on it, because products will start dropping off soon. There's so many products at the very end of our production schedule now that are being put together and published that very soon they won't be available on Backerkit. So if you're still looking for a prestige copy of a game, check it out on Backerkit while you still have time. If you miss out, here's one thing I will say. Check out Indie Press Revolution. Indie Press Revolution store a lot of our Prestige Edition books, the ones that we don't actually sell at Kickstarter, we might overstock. So check out Indie Press Revolution. It's a game store you can order from online, and that means that might fill your need for books that have fallen off of Backerkit, as well as specialist dice and such. In terms of new releases for this week, we have a nice Exalted themed week. Following on from last week's journals for Dragon Blooded, tied to the elements, we now have the different houses of Dragon Blooded for different journals. So if you identify with a particular house, you can get a journal that is mocked up in the art style of that house, and it will look fantastic on your table. But that isn't all. If you're a fan of monsters, gribblies, companions, and supporting antagonists and what have you, you also have another edition of the 100 Devils Night Parade. I believe this is the 24th part that details the white robes, and in fact I will get the text for you, the flavour text, because it's quite a lot of fun. An echo of professional mourners such as Sijan's famed sorrowers, white robes are empty garments radiating grief, endlessly wandering in a funeral procession to nowhere. The vast burden living mourners carry creates powerful emotional imprints from which white robes spawn. These sublime hollow robes are inscribed with beautiful ever-changing symbols in grey and bronze. Those who can decipher the writings learn secrets from the underworld's forgotten reaches. Though pale and ethereal, white robes are plasmic creations of emotion and underworld essence, rather than ghosts. There you go. You have an antagonist. It's all statted up for you, available on Drive-Thru-RPG. If you like to build up your cornucopia of beasts for Dragon Blooded and, well, I guess Exalted more widely, then do check out any of the editions of the 100 Devils Night Parade. I'm a big fan of monsters, and so I pick these up every single time they come out. In terms of movements on the schedule, I'm going to direct you to the Monday meeting blog, because last week there was a lot of movement. This week, less so, but that's often how it goes. And I should, I guess, provide some insight into the life of the developer, the writer, the RPG company. And that is, often you will see a lot of shifting on a schedule, because we might outline a whole bunch of books at the same time. You'll have different writing teams working on them at the same time, which means they'll all shift to red lines around the same time. They'll all come out of red lines around the same time. So these things often come in waves. Sometimes they will be more staggered, but right now we seem to be going through a bit of a wave process, which is quite a lot of fun, because it means we're getting to see a lot of books move on. It seems pretty quickly, it just so happens they're moving at the same time. But the fun thing, the particularly good thing for me, is those games encompass a broad array of properties. We are seeing books for Vampire the Masquerade, we're seeing books for Mage the Awakening, we are seeing books for Mage the Ascension, as well as Exalted, as well as Dystopia Rising, indeed, going forward. There is so much that is moving on the schedule right now. It's a very exciting time, and it does, I think, make the Monday Meeting blog what would I say? Obligatory reading. If you're a fan of our products, check out the Monday Meeting blog every Monday night or Tuesday morning when you wake up, and you will see where our products are on the schedule. Now, community content I will only touch on as well. I told you this is going to be a brief one, because no new products right now on Canis Minor or the Slarecian Vault. I'm informed there's a couple of things being worked on for the Slarecian Vault right now, but don't let that stop you. If you have an idea, whether it's just a spell or whether it's an entire campaign for either of the games of, well, Pugmire or indeed Monarchies of Mau or Scarred Lands, do upload them to the Slarecian Vault or Canis Minor. You will make money, you sell it, money goes to you, money comes to us, everyone's happy, and it's a way of getting yourself out there as a prospective writer. Something we don't emphasise enough is the number of times we pull authors from contributors to the Slarecian Vault and Canis Minor and the Storyteller's Vault, because it's a good way of them getting practice, it's a good way of getting their names out there, so do consider it. It's a good way to get a foot on the ladder. In terms of Onyx Path Media, I'm going to focus for a change on the Onyx Path cast, because this week we are doing a deep dive into Scarred Lands. Scarred Lands is one of my favourite settings for Dungeons & Dragons and Pathfinder. It's got a wonderful... it's the Greco-apocalyptic fantasy setting, where the gods and titans have just had their war, they've torn the world apart, and you are the survivors, or the descendants of the survivors, and you have to pick through the wreckage to make your adventures. So almost every single tomb robbery, every single dungeon delve you go on is going to be a route through the past, and the graveyards of gods and titans, and all of the spawn that they have kicked up. It's a world where the astral events of the last century and a half have resulted in a sea running completely red with blood, where entire landscapes have been blasted into badlands, where all kinds of weird and wonderful creatures dwell, and also terribly scary creatures, because I think one of the things that really marks Scarred Lands above a lot of other settings is the way it hammers home the horror of monsters. So please do check out the Scarred Lands Player's Guide. You can get it on DriveThruRPG, but also check out the Onyx Pathcast this Friday, so just yesterday, to listen to the thoughts that I, Dixie and Eddie have on Scarred Lands. If you are looking for more actual plays and reviews and the like, again, check out the Monday Meeting blog. I list a whole bunch of them every single Monday, and for as long as people keep creating them, I will keep listing them. With all that said, I think we are pretty much done for this week, so thank you very much for watching, and see you next time.